I don't write a whole lot of opioid pain prescriptions, but I still do because, I'm a doctor at the end of the day and people need these things. We treat a lot of wicked, just miserable, painful abscesses. I treat a lot of people with hidradenitis. I mean, there is a place for opioids in dermatology. Like Oscar Wilde wrote, sometimes a human condition does require a little anesthetic from time to time. Which brings me to my point today. I went to renew my DEA license, which, by the way, is almost $1,000 for 3 years. And I was hit with this notice that said I was going to have to take an extra 8 hours, which is almost a full workday for me, an extra 8-hour course in opioid abuse disorder. I think this pertains to anybody with the DEA, even pharmacists, if I'm not wrong. I'm all for continuing education and all, but 8 hours? Holy cow. It's no wonder people are giving up their DEA license and just saying screw it at this point. But here's the kicker, and here's where I think the conspiracy lies. They've lifted all restrictions on anybody with a DEA license to write Suboxone. Previously, used to have this designated X category to do it, and I didn't know much about it because I don't treat opioid misuse disorder. But now anybody can write Suboxone, which is all well and good. If you have an unrestricted DEA, you should be able to write anything you want, right? However, they're really pushing Suboxone now and putting up more and more barriers to managing people with low-cost opioids that have very low abuse potential if they're used correctly. It's really hard not to imagine the ghostly hand or the shadow of Big Pharma, the people that make Suboxone, behind these new recommendations. Because you can 100% get high off Suboxone if you take enough of it. So this isn't going to keep people from misusing their medication if they're prone to doing it already. And to further fuel my conspiracy mindset here, many of my professional organizations offer free courses to meet this 8-hour requirement. You click on a little thing that says, meet your requirement, click here. And you click on it, and every damn one of them goes to 8 hours of appropriate Suboxone prescribing, not how to deal with opioid use disorder. So rather than focusing upon the management of pain with low-cost opioids, we're focusing now the entire conversation on high-cost opioids. If you're familiar with the history of how the FDA was bought off by Big Pharma, especially Purdue Pharmaceuticals, in regard to the OxyContin issue 20 years ago, this completely reeks of that. I predict we're going to have a big Suboxone misuse epidemic in the next 10 years. I hope I'm just an old crank out walking in the woods, and I hope I'm wrong about this.